Hey, Wambog World Entertainment and all the lunatics are out in force once again as they try again to cancel the one and only Sylvester Stallone. Now, the report came out yesterday that apparently the talent agency behind hiring background actors quit the show over what they said was a toxic environment created by Stallone and a director, calling the background actors names like the fat guy with a cane and ugly and so on and so forth. Now, again, this is the third time that they've tried to cancel Stallone. You'll remember a good few years ago now, that woman in Las Vegas that came out and tried to say she had an affair with Stallone, and they did weird things with each other, except the dates she gave for their encounter in Vegas immediately got shot down when Stallone's wife Jennifer turned around and said, well, that's an interesting date you've given there because we were actually out renewing our vows, if I remember correctly, she said. But they were together, he wasn't even in Vegas at that stage. So that one got blown out of the water and very quickly went away after that. But then, of course, only a few years ago again, they came after Stallone when Rambo Last Blood was coming out, when they tried to say it was a Trump propaganda movie that was being pushed by the far right and he's such a Trump supporter and it's the straight white man's wet dream because it's about deleting Mexicans. Even though, first of all, Stallone isn't even a Republican, he's a stone cold Democrat, true and true. He did not back anything for Trump. Second, it wasn't about Mexicans, it was about a cartel. Yes, a Mexican cartel, but a cartel. Not all Mexicans. They always happen to leave out the parts of talking about the good Mexicans that were in that movie that helped them. Not just the woman and her friend down in Mexico, but the woman who he was living with, the grandmother who looked after the granddaughter. It was her granddaughter, but he took them in. They never seemed to talk about that. Not to mention that Stallone talked about the idea of Rambo going against a Mexican cartel since 2008. That's right, when Rambo 4 came out and they asked him after that movie had come out and we all saw the ending that he arrived home, the question was what would be next for Rambo, and he always was talking about toying with the idea of him going after the Mexican cartels. That was in 2008 and they had no problem with it. So the Tulsa King situation is laughable, especially if you watch the show and if you hear what some of the accusations are. You can just tell it's BS straight off the bat. But we have an article now because one of the directors and executive producers of the show is Rebukes. The allegations that Stallone created a toxic environment and was insulting the background actors. So let's have a look at this, because this is just hilarious to see how desperate they are to try and cancel anyone and everyone that they feel doesn't align with them. And let's face facts, we know why they're coming after him, in particular Tulsa King, because of that pronouns moment in the first season, which I couldn't stop laughing at when it happened in that episode. They're stoned out of their minds in the car after being to a weed farm, and he was in prison for 25 years and he's talking about how the world has changed, and he brings up pronouns and he's like, what is with this pronoun thing? It's great. In fact, it looks like this.
What's going on with this country in general nowadays? Does that mean like your generation? Seriously, come on. And these pronouns, what the fuck is with the pronouns? He, she, him, they, the, boom, bang, ba, fang, cool. You know what my pronoun is? Guess. Time's up. Okay. It, as in it, can't take this shit anymore.
But let's face facts, that's why they're going after him. But again, let's have a look at this. So Tulsa King director and executive producer Craig Zisk, I think it's how you say it. It's either Sisk or Zisk. I think it's Zisk. Rebuked the allegations that Sylvester Stallone created a toxic environment on the set of the show and insulted background actors. The accusations were brought to light by He-Man, Masters of the Universe and Star Trek prodigy writer Julie Benson, who shared an email from Rose Lockey announcing the background casting agency would no longer be working on the show due to a clear toxic environment. An email, now by the way, this is all basically, this person said this person put the email out, and we are putting out the email. So it's like triple hearsay almost. But an email that Benson shared to X reads, I have been informed of certain things that happened on Thursday, the first day of the casino. I came the second day, Friday, to see what was happening. At the end of the day, I resigned because it was a clear toxic environment that I was not comfortable putting myself or background artists in. I will finish out this coming week and someone else will take over. I want to apologize for anything you experienced. Now, when they're saying you experienced, this is meant to be emailed to the background actors, or as they're liking to call them, artists. And by the way, I love this part. Keep this in mind where it says giving time for them to put someone else to take over. Keep that in mind for in a few minutes. So along with this email, Benson also shared a screenshot from a Facebook group from an unnamed moderator that stated, while working on Tulsa King this week, Sylvester Stallone was observed calling the director over and saying, what the F is up with these effing ugly background? He and the director proceeded to call certain people terrible names and laughed at them. Tub of lard, fat guy with cane, and was making fun of their weight and handicaps. But before I continue with that, does that sound anything like what you've ever seen Sylvester Stallone act like? Ever? Even people just videotape them on the street or anything. Have you ever seen him behave in that manner? Where he's calling people names over their handicaps and stuff? Yeah. And you see what I mean here by... So this person puts out, we're quitting the show type thing that was emailed from another person, but now they're sharing screenshots from a Facebook group that's unnamed that says while they were working there they saw this happen. Yeah. So the post continued. Sly said, bring in pretty young girls to be around me. Rose Lockey has resigned and will finish out this final week to give them the opportunity to find someone else. BGs need to stand together and not submit to Tulsa King moving forward to show this production. We don't support this kind of disrespect in GA. That's the part I'm talking about when I said keep in mind they're saying best of luck to whoever takes over, and we want to give whoever takes over time. When they're saying we all have to stay together and not support this show. Yeah. So CL casting or Carrot Lockey casting, which is owned by Jennifer Rose Lockey and Jamie Lynn Carrot, announced on its Facebook page it had indeed exited the Tulsa King show. The post reads, we wanted to send you an update on the happenings here in our casting world. We have chosen to part ways with Tulsa King. We will be finishing up next week and the 12th will be our last day. We send well wishes to whoever takes over the show. We thank all of you great background artists for your continued support. Barf. So now Zisk, whatever, responded to these accusations with TMZ reporting the director informed the outlet. Craig Zisk The director and executive producer of the Paramount Plus series tells TMZ no such insults were hurled. He says Lockie, who was not on set during the day of the alleged encounter, improperly cast the extras. The outlet added, Zisk says the extras were supposed to be a hip young bar and the plan was to get actors in the 25 to 35-year-old range, but the actors who were cast were considerably older. Zisk did end up using the background actors and informed the outlet they were polite and did their jobs. So they cast completely the wrong background people to start with, to where they were like, it's going to be a hip young nightclub type thing. We need people between these ages because it's this type of thing. And this company went and got old people, basically. So as for the encounter with Lockie when she arrived on set the next day, Zisk says he informed Lockie she would need to submit headshots of extras moving forward so that he and the producers could ensure the actors would match their creative vision. Lockie reportedly refused, telling Zisk, I don't work that way. Zisk informed her, that's the way I work, and everyone I know works that way in extra castings. Lockie then quit an hour later. Zisk also disputed the claim that Sly wanted pretty girls around him and noted Stallone's wife Jennifer was on set during filming. So you're hearing there, this is where this stuff gets hilarious. You notice none of that type of stuff was said with the first season, because not just would it have not made sense where they were like, oh, he wanted all the young girls around, because if you watch the first season, that's not even who the character is. He's not that type of person at all. So it would make no sense for the character to all of a sudden want all these young hot girls around him. Not to mention his daughter was in the first season. Yeah, and she's probably in this season. I don't know about that yet. I haven't heard anything about her being back for this season. But the fact that his wife was there, that Jennifer was there during the filming of this, just makes it even funnier. Because that is one of those, oh, he was just being a dirty old man. What do you mean his wife was there? Oh, you mean our story's absolute bullshit? Again, when you're hearing what they're saying, oh, him and the director were calling all the people ugly and fat and this and that and horrendous names and picking on their disabilities and stuff. Does that ever sound anything to you like Sylvester Stallone, the guy who champions people to get over their obstacles? You know, he champions people on. It's, my God, look at you. You have a disability, but you pushed through, you strived, you dreamed, you made it. You're a success. You keep punching, because that's his line. Keep punching. And they're trying to say he was making fun of them and stuff because of their looks. He just wanted hot young girls all around him. And again, if you watch the show, that's not even who the character is. The character's nothing like this person that wants hot young people around them in the slightest. So none of it makes sense. And then again, when you're hearing the talent, well, one of the people, one of the writers for He-Man and Star Trek Prodigy of all things, shares the email from the company who hires the extras, and that company puts out a Facebook unnamed group message claiming that this crap happened. It's just such a joke, and we can all see the writing. They're just trying to cancel not just Stallone, but they obviously want the show gone because it took the piss out of pronouns in the first season. Funny times. Can't wait for season 2. It is supposed to be coming out this fall. Looking forward to it. But again, they've tried to cancel Stallone, and again, they have failed. and will continue to fail because they're morons. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.